Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new episode of Women of Arabia. Women of Arabia is a platform where we showcase the best women entrepreneurs and women across all fields of life who with their sheer determination and passion they have brought their dreams into reality. And as Women of Arabia is growing, we are on a mission to bring you the stories of women across the globe who they have created with their stories, with their lives, an impact in their society and world over. And today, in conversation with us is Rossette Aliu. Hi Rossette.
Hi Diji, how are you doing?
Thank you so much for being part of Women of Arabia. Now Rossette is the publisher of Best African Regional Magazine. Right.
Yes.
So thank you so much for being here. Now Rossette is not from UAE. She is from Nigeria, but she's based out of?
In Ghana.
Ghana. And why did you make Ghana your home? Were you born there? Were you born in Nigeria?
I think destiny takes you where you're meant to be. So it was more or less a destiny thing, and that is where I practiced journalism for quite some time and connected with a lot of companies.
Right.
So from Ghana, I go across Africa.
Right.
I go to Nigeria quite often as well.
So your family is from Nigeria?
Yes, my family is from Nigeria.
Okay.
And I think I got to Ghana 1996. I was 16 years old.
Okay.
School there, work there.
But why? Why did you choose Ghana?
Actually, like I said, it's just on a path to destiny. At some point, I was moving from Nigeria. I want to study somewhere else, and Ghana was the right choice.
And I think that's interesting you say that, because many Africans that we know, or many of my friends, if they have to look for a particular choice to do their higher studies, for instance, they always look at USA, UK, and countries of that sort. Did you think about that, or you wanted to be in Africa itself?
Well, I wanted to be in Africa, and I think educational system in Ghana is quite great. A lot of people come from across Africa to study in Ghana.
Is it?
So
Okay.
I guess it's rated quite high, so definitely that's why I wanted to go there.
And do you have, because we don't know much about Africa, of course, do you have visa implications when you go from Nigeria to Ghana, or you can just be a student there?
Yeah, you don't have that because an ECOWAS country, so we can easily go in and out. You get stamped at the border or at the airport, and it's easy flow.
Okay, so you went to Ghana, let's say, and you wanted to be a journalist.
It's always been my dream. I always said to my dad I was going to be a TV broadcaster, something like that. That was where I thought I was going, but apparently I ended up with the print media.
Right, and was your father or anyone from your family into media, broadcasting?
Not at all. I'm quite unique when it comes to that in the family. Right from the beginning, I was writing stories. I wrote a couple of books, and how I was discovered was very funny. I wrote a book, and my junior brother, Anthony, sent it over to a very popular figure in Nigeria, that's Delta State, Warri. Actually, he wrote a book, if I could remember, he wrote a book and it was quite respected. And my brother took the writing I did and sent to him. And he was like, hey, you've got talent, I need to meet your dad. And
wow.
I brought him home. And I said this before, and my dad was like, hey, if you want to get married, just tell me, and I'll get you a husband. Don't tell me, you want to be a writer or something, because in Nigeria, the expectation is that either you're a doctor or
an engineer or lawyer.
Lawyer. Those kind of positions are well respected in Nigeria. But I mean, for journalists and all that, those days, they've never had that opportunity, and a lot of them lost their lives. So he mentioned Dele Giwa. This was somebody that died from a time bomb. So he's like, hey, why? Do you want to end up like Dele Giwa or something? But funnily, as time went on, my dad is quite supportive of what I do.
Was it just for the women, or was it for everyone? Okay.
Journalism, when you go in, sneaking in, maybe sometimes investigative journalism, you never know where you're going to end up then. And I think it's still an issue in some African countries or the world as a whole. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, you have to be very careful how you talk, how you present yourself in journalism. It is a very bold industry or career choice.
You reveal a lot, you understand. Even in Ghana right now, there's Anas. He's a guy doing all these investigations, and it's not easy. I mean, there are threats. My former boss, Raymond Acha, Enquirer newspaper, he equally did some investigations that, had him also threatened. So it happens. But at the end of the day, I think we're growing and people are becoming more accepting of investigative journalism and all that. But in my area, I was looking at development, which is not always, politics is powerful in journalism. People like that, but I was more interested in how I can impact in Africa. Hence the reason for the West African Regional Magazine.
Okay.
The aim is to promote regional development in West Africa.
Right. But before we come to West African Regional Magazine, I want to take you through all your life. So you went to Ghana, you started studying journalism, and at some point you decided it's not broadcast journalism, but it is print media.
Print media.
Why did you decide that?
I love writing. I read a lot. That's probably one of my hobbies. I read a lot and I love writing. I think words are powerful. It's beautiful also to watch things on the screen and so on. But I think with words you touch.
They always say, right, the pen is mightier than the sword. It is. It is words are.
Yes,
yeah.
So it's quite powerful. And, being a journalist, writing, I started actually marketing. I worked with a couple of newspapers in Ghana. I was with Business Week and Corporate Guardian. My former boss was, his name was Oscar Ogo. I also worked with Enquirer, the newspaper. Raymond Acha was my boss, and I decided along the way I want to do more to promote the continent. I didn't like the way we were being projected online, especially on CNN TV as well. I think whenever there's an issue, they always go to the undeveloped part of Africa or West Africa, and I felt we should show what the continent has to offer. So I was really interested in that area.
Right. And once you started being in the journalism industry and being a writer and working with these publications, did you at some point decide to go back to Nigeria, or by then you had decided this is Ghana is where I want to make my base?
Actually, we have a branch of the office in Nigeria. We registered it in Ghana 2006, commenced the business in registered in 2005, commenced in 2006. 2009, we had an office in Nigeria opened as well.
Okay.
So definitely, it wasn't about that. With this aspect of what we do for the sub-region, you can work at any place.
Right. Yes.
Yes.
So that brings you to your West African Regional Magazine. Yeah. So how come? When was the shift that you decided to do that? You wanted to start something of your own, and a magazine. Why a magazine, and why did you decide to do that? Is it an online magazine?
No, it's actually on the physical.
Print media. Okay.
And we also online. You can easily access it online on our website. Well, I haven't worked with Business Week. There's a business newspaper, and Corporate Guardian, which is also a business publication. And then going politically with Enquirer newspaper and stuff, I felt I wanted to concentrate on development, try to attract investors to the sub-region, or even those within from other countries in Africa to invest locally as well. So the main idea was, why not highlight some of the potentials in the sub-region? Hence the reason why the West African Regional Magazine was introduced. We equally introduced also an Achievers Awards, because the aim was to bridge the gaps amongst businesses in the sub-region. Okay. We thought there's not enough communication going on there.
So when you say that you wanted to bring in investors to the region, to your country or that region, and also showcase what Ghana and Nigeria, let's say, has to offer, is it not that you have, because as an outsider's point of view, we hear so much about what Ghana has, what Nigeria has. Yeah. So why is it that you have to look for investors from outside as an African?
Anyway, the whole process, we can't do it alone. You need investors to come in there and, maybe bring in the financial support. We have the resources, we have all those things, but maybe not the money to push some of those investments and some of those areas or sectors. Like the agricultural sector, it's big. I'm working with somebody right now that is quite influential in the agricultural sector. That's Bovid Limited. He's helping farmers, and he had to also open an NGO. He also has a botanic garden where he saves a lot of plants and everything. So definitely investors like the UN and other organizations. He even signed an agreement with Moringa. So you see, investment is very important if you want to grow, the things you have. So
true. But within Africa, like you just said, agriculture.
We also have investors within Africa. Dangote is a big investor.
Right.
He's got a cement factory all over the place. Even is planning to develop the sugar factory in Ghana, and we have local investors as well. So the main idea is both the local and the international investors that we hope to attract.
Exactly. And like you just mentioned that agriculture it's huge, right?
It's big.
In Africa, you have such organic products that the world is going crazy about. You have like Ghana, just for instance, oil.
Yes,
it's one of the richest in the African region. But still, where is that pinch point? Why is it not where not where it's supposed to be in terms of the resources? Is it manpower is lacking, or what do you think from a Ghanaian perspective?
I think it's a work in progress. I think Ghana just celebrated, 60 years old or 61 years old independence. These are growing economies. They're still young, and you don't just like get it all out of the ground at once. So it's a gradual process. There's a lot going on in terms of agriculture in Ghana. There are products being exported out. Shea butter is major, and you can find out all over the country, all over the world.
Yeah.
You see shea butter being exported
Completely,
and all that. So it's growing, and I think and fast too. So give it a bit of time, things will spread much more.
Okay, and your whole idea behind the West African Regional Magazine was, what was the whole the push that gave you, or what was the turning point where you decided this is what I want to do, and what is your idea behind it?
Well, the idea is promote regional development, and we do so by looking at areas with potential. Agriculture being that area, industrialization is also important for us as well as having the government provide the basic social amenities that any community needs to grow. So we felt, okay, let's do allies and look at government officials, individuals that are doing well in government, that are on the right track, so that others will emulate them.
Yeah.
We also believe in our traditional rulers a lot because they are highly respected figures all across Africa. So definitely we focus on our traditional rulers. We also speak to them and see how they are contributing to developments in their area. There are also individuals that are quite powerful, like Dangote. If you go to Ghana, there's a lot of entrepreneurs that have started from nowhere, and they are where they are today. The CEO for Zoom Lion. These are people impacting development in their various countries. So we do an highlight on them and tell their stories, and hope the youth will learn from them. You understand? At the same time, we look at areas with potential, and we try to draw attention to them so that others that are interested in investing would look at targeting those areas. And I also spoke to you about connecting with the right people. So that's where we come in sometimes, and that's where the event plays a role.
Yes.
The West African Regional Magazine having these events, we play a role by connecting investors directly to areas of interest, even to individuals, or taking them to the government if we have to do so. So gradually, I believe we can contribute big time to development.
That's amazing. The way you said that even if we have to do it individually, you would.
Do it.
Yeah, you are truly committed to that, right?
Very
because
committed.
I can see that in
Very,
you.
very, very committed. Because I think we all have a role to play in the development of Africa. And I also feel the farmer, working hard as much as he's doing, deserves the returns for his produce as well. So how do we make this happen? We get people that would value it and invest into it and make it possible.
Right. And what about the magazine? Is this on a weekly basis, bi-weekly, monthly? How do you go about with the magazine?
Is on a quarterly basis. It comes out every 3 months. It's also online. You understand? And we've been doing this for over 10 years. 2006 to 2019.
Wow.
That's about, I think, 13 years in the business. So yeah.
And it's completely you.
It's completely me. I have support. I have a team. Like I said, my hobby is a big supporter of what I do. Daniel Squad. He's very supportive. The late nights, the traveling. Sometimes he has to go over to countries like China to prepare the floor for events and everything that we have to do to get our people across. Because our program, we have the West African Regional Magazine Achievers Awards, and we have T1 Business and Leadership Awards. The Achievers Awards is done locally across the sub-region. We've done it in like 6 or 7 countries so far. We've done it in, first edition was in Ghana. We repeated it again. That was 2017. We've had it in Togo, in Cotonou, that's Republic of Benin, Lagos, Nigeria. We recently had it this last year in Monrovia, Liberia. It's quite an experience. Liberia is coming up, is developing,
Okay.
and I think right now is the time to invest in Liberia. The country has potential, and so we are happy to have gone there and linked up with people over there on a local basis for the Local Achievers Awards. For the Business and Leadership Awards, we started in 2014. We've been in Belgium, and we've been in China, Dubai. We're here in Dubai 2016.
When you say you've been in Belgium, China, so you go there and
We organize programs.
and it is recognizing the African business people in these regions?
We actually take them from Africa there.
Okay.
We take our leading lights from Africa to those foreign countries and invite business community from those countries to meet with them and see how we can connect. And I think I was going to wait for the future prospects of what we're doing, but we're introducing the African Regional Journal very soon.
Okay, what is that? You can tell us?
African, of course. African Regional Journal. We believe this is going to be the passport for Africa. And the main idea is to promote development in Africa. The West African Regional Magazine promotes in West Africa. And the whole concept for this publication was in 2015. We went for the Achievers Awards, the T1 Business and Leadership Awards in South Africa. Because we felt we're not only trying to connect Africa to the world, like beyond Africa, we want to connect within. So when we went to South Africa, I was told, hey, why the West African Regional Magazine? Why not African Regional Magazine? Yeah. So we don't want to change names, so we thought, why not go bigger? So the African Regional Journal will also focus on a potential investment area in Africa, promote tourism. We'll also look at Africans in the diaspora. There will be a section for them because we want to incorporate them back into the system. We feel they have the knowledge, they have the understanding and experience, they lived outside. We want some of those experiences within. Even the Chinese, when the Chinese is China is one of the greatest economy now in the world. And they did this by sending people across, getting information and developing themselves. So I'm hoping with our brothers in the diaspora, we can equally come together and build something wonderful. So that's what the African Regional Journal entails. And we are also having T1 Forum and Trade Fair. That's TAJ, that's the African Regional Journal Forum and Trade Fair, where we tackle issues affecting the continent. We also look at opportunities. There will be exhibition made in Africa products will be on display. We invite people from outside as well to come in and join and see if they have any interest in Africa. Then we pair them up with our people. So more or less we're coming home. So the traveling would cease a bit. So we try and bring people. Now we've done enough traveling abroad. Now it's time to bring them home.
Yeah, true. They're all going abroad, and Africa, it's strange, right? It's huge. And there are times when we were talking about the African Market Expo. It's not just a platform to bring outsiders to Africa. It's a platform where people in Africa will meet each other. Because that's very important. Like you moved from Nigeria to Ghana. You could have easily followed the path and gone somewhere else, and like most people do. But because you were there, you understand, and you want to give more, right? And like you said, there are so many people who wants to come back. And what do you think is stopping them? Or what is that one thing the moment they finish their school or their university? And what's stopping them from coming back?
I think you look at the pay. I think they feel they're going to get better pay when they stay out there than when they come back. And I think in a country like Nigeria, the opportunities are, one opportunity and you see millions chasing after it.
It's the population thing also.
The population
right?
also comes in as well. So I think that is a problem.
And is the government doing much in terms of, or what do you think can the government do in terms of changing that? And how publications like you or the businessmen people like you?
I've actually collaborated with an organization in Ghana. I think they dealt with Africans in the diaspora, where they try to help those that are coming back home settle in. So they were more or less interceding between the Africans in the diaspora and the government and trying to see how to get them for job placement and everything. So there's a movement for that at the moment. And for us, I think with the African Regional Journal, we can play more role with this event that we're putting out there. We have Africans coming in from the United States, Caribbean, London, and all these places, and they are also coming in there to see what they can do business-wise. So the main idea is we need to connect them to the right people. So in doing what we're doing, we need to connect with government agency, Like in Ghana, they have Ghana Investment Promotion Center. They have exports, Ghana Exports Promotion, I think, out there as well. We see how we work with these organizations and how to help our people coming from outside.
Yeah. So when you started the publication, and even now, being a woman, how much has it, being a woman in Africa, trying to set up something, and around the world, going everywhere, how much has it helped or not helped in the whole process?
It's not been easy. At the end of the day, being a woman doing what I'm doing, and the most difficult part of it is always financial support. Because sometimes you don't get the banks to want to support
a woman.
I'm just saying the banks in terms of giving you loans to.
Wait, is it just for the women or in general for businesses?
General,
okay.
The difficulty is there from the banks, and at the same time, having people to value and appreciate what you're trying to do. Because I think everybody's like, I have some clients that tell me, hey, if I'm not getting up to this amount of money, I'm not going. So people also want guarantee before they move. And I think being a woman also, it's a bit tougher. Trying to convince them that, hey, you know what you're doing and you're trying to put things in the right way for their benefit than yours. Because the minute the publication is added into the mix, they feel it's more or less about advertisement than getting the job done. So it's really, really tough. But the good thing is that though you're a woman in front of everything, you always have a stronger man behind supporting you as well. So like I said, my family, my hobby, they've been of great help to me. And some of the clients that I met from the times I was working with other publications, they came on to support. Even the first edition that I had out, they were willing to pay not knowing what was coming out. So I think as a woman, getting people to believe in what you do helps you succeed. And for you to be consistent, you have to be updated with the current things and also look at where there's need, to meet. You understand? So that's what I've done, and that's how I've survived. Every time I put out an idea, everybody's like, wow, you understand? And make your ideas sellable because you need to fight in the male-dominated, society as well. But if they feel you have something up in there, you get the support and sponsorship as well. So it's not been easy, but definitely you need to work times 2 more than your male counterparts if you want to make it.
Yes, and it's still the same, or have you seen any change in the last 10, 13 years of you being there?
No, things have changed because people know me. People know me now and what I do. So when I put things out there, they're willing to help. I have clients that have been to our programs, and sometimes when they're going back to that same country, they still come and contact me. So definitely, I feel I still have the support. And the support has made it easier.
But
it's not easy.
It is not, yes. But for women in general, has things changed?
Most of the time with women, they always feel your place should be in the kitchen.
Is it still the same? Even the educated women has, over the past 10 years, has it been easier do you see a change in terms of women in general to go out there and follow their dreams? Or like you said, is it still...
A lot of women are doing so many stuff. Even I think recently the London Stock Exchange listed companies that are meant to inspire Africa. And you have Zine, there's a company in Nigeria where a woman is in charge and they're building a refinery for gold. So a lot of women are taking more leadership role these days, and I think they're motivated by those they've seen.
Yeah, like you.
I try. I mean, women that are already in this business, like the richest woman in Africa, I think Folonsho is her name, from oil in Nigeria. These are women that have motivated other women to go on and take a leadership role. And I think more than ever, there are women entrepreneurs out there in various sectors, movie industry, everywhere you look, fashion, and so on and so forth. I have a customer, GRA, and she's into cosmetics and all that in a male-dominated area. A lot of companies are in the cosmetic sector, and she's doing so well, and she's striving for many years now. So these days, women are really taking up that leadership role. And
it's mostly entrepreneurs trying to come out, women, or is it still...
it's entrepreneurs trying to come out and creating their own business, coming up with different stuff. Could be fabrics, could be designs, could be anything. Even in ICT sector, softwares and all that. Women are, even funnily in Nigeria, there's a woman power generation. There's a woman doing that. Mojek International. There's a woman right in front of that. So women are doing a lot, and things are changing. And I think more men are beginning to understand that definitely if you have a wife that is industrious, is a plus in the house. More men are beginning to realize that.
That's so different.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful because I did speak to one man at a particular time, and he was like, at some point, he relaxed. He was the one home taking care of the kids for his wife to go to school, because he's like, hey, I don't know what would happen tomorrow. If I'm dead and I'm no more there, at least I'm confident that my woman or my wife can take care of the family. Because, we've had so many stories when the man dies, then the whole family, the children, everybody ceases from schooling. So having a woman industrious and doing what she does, I think any wise man will support her.
Wow, and it's a huge shift, right? In the men's mentality also, for you to...
There's a huge shift, yeah.
That's
amazing. And I think men now, they value women that are determined to work and go on their own, and I think the majority of them support these days, unlike before.
Right.
Even in my case, at some point, my dad was like, "Hey, I wish you were a guy."
I remember you telling me the story. Yes.
So yeah, it's getting better.
Now that you've said that, what about your family? How many brothers, sisters? How many of you are there?
We're huge. We're many. My dad had, with my mother, he had 4 boys,
okay.
2 girls.
Okay.
I'm the third in the family.
Okay. And yes. What does your other sister is also as enterprising as you are?
Oh yeah.
What does she do?
She does what she does. She actually does this financial thing. They have this local money lending and saving, and that is what she does.
Wow.
She's quite industrious. But I mean, I take it to a different level.
Of course you do.
And sometimes it's where God has placed you. And in the role, destiny has put in your path. So
yeah.
I'm glad to be able to do something.
Right. And then when you have moved, when you traveled across, let's say your events in China, Russia, because you're doing a lot with China, with Russia, with Belgium and things like that.
We're doing something more recently. We're trying to go to Russia. And with China, everything, machineries, is in there. So Africans like going to China for that reason. But there's still a huge market for everybody to come in as well. So yeah, going to China gives me the opportunity to connect Africans with interest there. Some of them are probably going in there to buy machineries. Others are also looking at partnership. So, I mean, we've been able to connect some people. And I remember a scenario, there's a company, Sasu, in Ghana. We're able to take them to Nigeria to open up their business in Nigeria as well. So we want to do it both ways, like in Africa, helping people connect, outside also doing the same thing as well. So, yeah.
And when you go to these countries, how receptive are they of Africans coming in with business prospects? And as a woman going in, how was it?
Oh, they're great. Like, they're very receptive. And I know a lot of them, if you're a serious business person, you just need to curve, know how to do business with the right ones and take out the wrong ones, the bad nuts. You understand? Every country has that. So everybody knows that in Africa, there's potential. But they just need the right person to go in there with. You understand? So we coming in between, we make things a bit easier for both sides, the African and the company from outside Africa. So yeah.
Right. And
as a woman, it's never been a factor when I travel out there. I think they are more receptive.
How do you get your confidence? Where do you get it from? You're so positive. And has there ever been any times when you've doubted yourself? I'm sure there have been.
Of course.
And how do you come out of those things? Have you ever gone into...
That's why if you're a strong woman, you don't cry too long. You cry a bit and pick yourself up.
But isn't it good to cry also, Rossette, at times?
A bit. You cry a bit, because I think tears is quite expensive. You cry too much, you'll never stop. So I think I'll cry a bit and then pick myself up and start looking. Always be positive. Be optimistic. I think by nature, that's me. I'm a very optimistic person. And I'm also positive. I always like to look at the good side of things. Even when it's bad and it looks like there's no hope, but I know when to give up and say, no, there's nothing I can do in this case. I need to let it go, learn from it, and move on, with something else. So, yeah. Has
there been lots of times when you felt like, oh, that's it, I can't move on?
Of course, like we've had situations whereby you end up disappointing a client, and when you disappoint one person, 100 persons get to find out about it. So we are never happy, and we always try as much as we can to make amends. And one of the challenges with our program and having them abroad is a visa issue. Sometimes I think the embassies, they need to really look into these things and understand the reason why people are going, than the laws. I think there's too much hard, laws on visa application for Africans, and I think they need to ease that up a bit, because most of us are going out there to do real business and also bring investment to their countries as well. So I think those are some of the challenging aspects. Hence the reason why I feel the time is right to do everything back home. We've made the connection. We work with the embassies, the consulates, and all these other development organizations.
And bring them in.
Bring people in.
Yes.
So that way it's much more easier. But I believe in Africa, like I said, is the future. So the time will come, these issues won't be there.
Yeah, it won't be there. It will be very easy to travel for Africans and to Africa also, right?
And,
Yeah.
they shouldn't, this whole thing about Africa, and I guess in a way you can't blame them. We always, when there's an opportunity, every African is looking at the opportunity and trying to get there. You understand? Poverty plays a role in that as well.
And refugees and poverty,
all those things as well. So, but I think they should ease up a bit, because if you have the right security and everything in place, you give people the opportunity and see what they would bring, because you never know.
Right. And in terms of opportunity, have you seen, what are the major sectors even now? Because there was a time in Africa we used to talk about agriculture, we used to talk about oil and gas. Of course, the sustainable, renewable resources and everything. But what is it still the same sectors, or do you see a change happening in general?
Well, agriculture. I will always say agriculture number one, because we have land, and we also have
untapped land also.
Untapped land. We have also produce like cocoa. So companies coming in there to open a factory and to begin processing of cocoa with great chocolate, and to have chocolates out there, because in Ghana I think there are about just two of them. There's this cocoa processing company. They do the golden tree chocolates, and then we have Niche Cocoa. They are new. There's a Ghanaian coming in from the States and has decided to invest back home, and they have this niche cocoa in various brands, and they taste good. So, but I feel there's still room for more companies to come in there, because we have cocoa in excess. So definitely, yeah.
Agriculture mainly.
Agriculture mainly. Oil and gas is there, and there's a discovery every day. And Ghana's found oil, Ivory Coast, but the next on the list. Even I think Liberia feels they also have potential to discover oil. Aside from that, there are other food products that can be exported from Africa to other parts of the world where they don't grow them. You understand? And the energy sector is also, Nigeria, we still have light off over there, and I think these are basic needs that every person should have in a country. So I think there's something there as well. We're looking at solar, or we're looking at, already they've done privatization, and we're expecting that we would see the reward and everything, but it's been slow. Dangote is doing what he's doing also, but I think we need more. We need to, transportation is also a big thing, so I'm also hoping the government will partner with more companies and see if we can get sky trains in Africa. It makes no sense for people to be queuing on the street for cars when that is money standing out there. So I feel, especially even in Nigeria, Ghana as well, there's a need for transportation where people can sit comfortably in air-conditioned, automobile, and be able to move from one place to the other at ease and travel from one place to the other, because this is money.
Yeah, and these are things which many people in different parts of the world take it for granted, right? Which is something which is not there, like you said, electricity, for instance. People take it so much for granted, sitting in an air-conditioned car, which are things which is still not available in many parts,
of course,
right?
And I just feel the government has to work on that and see how, because we can't elect you every year, and 10 years down the road the situation is still the same. We need to place value on our people. This builds our confidence going out there. And when you go out there, you should have an environment like what is seen in other developed countries. So we need to work on development. And definitely, like I said, we need others to come in as well to make it happen.
And how receptive is Africans in general to bring in or to accept people coming from outside to their country?
Oh, they are very, very receptive. They are very, very receptive as well. But we discussed issues about markups and all those kind of things. We need to encourage them to come. You understand? Instead of making things more expensive, make it easy for them to come. Because UAE has done fantastically. Years back this was a desert, and today it's bubbling, like Dubai is a bubbling business hub across the world. Everybody comes here, and even these are foreigners from various countries across the world that are working here. So not only are they contributing to their economies, they're also contributing to economies of countries as well.
Right.
So this is what I hope Africa would learn from and take up something like this, and we need to stop discriminating, come together, work together, brothers and sisters, invite foreigners to also come in and see how we can work on the right basis. It shouldn't be like your hand is forced for one reason or the other. It should be fair.
Yes.
Yeah.
And with the common goal, right? One common goal it's the betterment of the economy in generally.
Yes, and there should be flexibility with prices. Prices of cocoa should be the same in Ghana, Nigeria, and Ivory Coast. So then there's no need. Either way, we are all selling.
Yeah.
So it adds to that as well.
Right. So that there is competition, but at the same time, there is a balance.
That is it.
A universal balance, which has to be there. Sometimes I feel like Africa should be one country. It makes life easy.
We're supposed to be one country, and no more. Don't let issues like tribalism, discrimination, like the issue in South Africa. This has been going on for years, and one way or the other is being triggered by somebody, because people play with things like this.
Yeah.
But we need to educate our African brothers and sisters that we are one. And the minute we can come together and put our head together, then we're ready to go.
Unbeatable force.
Even Kwame Nkrumah said it. The development, the independence of Ghana is meaningless unless it's integrated with the unity of Africa as a continent.
Exactly.
We need to come together and see how we can help. Because when you travel out there, they don't see a Ghanaian, a Nigerian, they see an African. So as far as we're known as a unit, it's not wise for us to fight amongst ourselves. We need to come together.
As a unit, feel as a unit. Because clearly outside the world, you are a unit.
Yes.
And why not inside, right?
Exactly.
So what next for Rossette as a person, and what next for, you said, of course, the African journal is coming up.
Yes.
But other than that, what are the
future prospects? Is just, we're just working October 23rd to 26th for the fair, the Forum and Trade Fair, and I'm looking forward to it because I want us to tackle issues that are affecting the continent, and at the same time see how to get our brothers from the diaspora home as well. It's a big event.
So just for everyone, where is the event going to be held?
In Accra, in Ghana.
Okay.
And we'll give more details as the weeks run by. So definitely that's what I'm working on for the future. And I feel this is the reason why I'm here, because years ago I was told I was going to do a publication that would touch Africa. And I thought it was the West African Regional Magazine. It has done its part, but I think the African Regional Journal is it and is the future.
Yes, it is.
So that's what I'm working on.
That could be, like you just mentioned some time back, you as Africans, you should all join together and be one. This could be one of the binding factors, because enough with West Africa and just one region. Let's just work and talk about Africa as one, right?
Sure.
That's what you're doing. And it's amazing that you're doing your part for it. So if they have to find you, how do they find you? How do they follow you?
Well, you just need to link up to our website. It's twarmagazine.com.
TWR, so the West
African Regional Magazine. Magazine in full, the rest are.
All right. We will do the credits. Yeah, okay. And that's where they go. They have to subscribe and they will.
When they go on there, they get that information. They can easily get my number and get in touch.
Oh, that's amazing.
I'm also on LinkedIn.
Okay.
And we're on Twitter as well.
Perfect. So you know where to follow her. It's been an amazing journey. Thank you so much for taking us through all that you've been trying to do through your magazine, and of course through all the events, and also recognizing these powerful business owners and people who are making a difference. Thank you. And of course, Middle East UAE is open to you anytime you need. The opportunities are huge. So proud of what you're doing, and she was one of the top 12 women who was honored by the UAE Africa Networking and Business Group here in UAE. So that's a great honor. Many more accolades that you have. So wishing you all the best. Thank you very much for being part of Women of
Thank you so
Arabia.
much as well.
Thank you. So that was another episode of Women of Arabia, and stay tuned for the next. Thank you.